What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet. And I am black up in your face again with some more pro black commentary. Very sad story coming out of Springfield, Illinois, of a black woman, 36 years old, named Sonya Massey, and she was murdered by the police in her home. And it has reached national news attention, and I will give a little bit of my commentary on it. First of all, let me say this. I had planned already on reporting on this story, but I've had some people who are subscribers of mine send me this story. Mainly one brother, Justin Contrail. He always sends me a lot of really good news stories or just, sources for stuff. So just to say that, brother, I appreciate you. And I was already on it when I got the message from you. So just letting you know, I definitely saw this story. And what actually brought my attention to this story was I was looking at a lawyer's commentary about the police officer or the sheriff's deputy who was charged in this murder. I believe his name is Sean Grayson. He's the one that killed Sonya Massey for no reason. So let me just explain to you the scenario. If you haven't seen the footage yet, I would advise you to go look at it if you can stomach it. It is sad, it is disturbing, and it will probably piss you off, or at the very least make you sad. And it's not something that will be easy to handle. But what happened was this woman, I believe she called the police. Sonya Massey called the police because she said she thought there was an intruder hanging around her house. The sheriff deputies got there. They questioned her outside the house. Then they wanted to go inside because they wanted to see her ID. Now, why they need to see her ID and ask her all these extra questions, I don't know. But that, to me, that's the beginning of the problem right then and there. If you have a situation where you call the police, you don't always have to let them in your house, all right? Especially if the disturbance is coming from outside, there's really no reason for you to have to let them inside your house. But based on what I observed in the footage, I believe that Sonya Massey has some mental issues. And I'm going based on how she was giving her answers to the police questions and how she was responding to not just to them, but to people. She was talking to someone else on the phone. And also based on the condition of her home. Okay, I think she might have had some sort of mental issues going on there because it looked like she was almost like hoarding when you see some of the footage of some of the rooms in her house. And I've known people like that. I've known family members like that, right? So I do think she was probably suffering from some mental condition. But in the middle of being interrogated by these police, and it seemed like they were having a somewhat, you know, cordial conversation, even like throwing some jokes back and forth. And then, the police tell her, make sure you understand this part of it. The police told her, hey, go get that pot off of the stove because we don't need a fire in here along with, a checkup call, because they were worried that there might be a fire or a fire might start because Sonya was cooking or boiling something on the stove. She goes over there to get it, and they said something to her about the boiling water. They didn't want to get too close to her because there was boiling water there. And she told them that she rebuked them in the name of Jesus. And it almost seemed like she was joking. It didn't even seem like she was being 100% serious. It seemed like she was kind of being playful with them because that's how they were when they came in the first place, right? And they asked her to repeat it. She repeated it again. And then the one cop, our killer cop here, Sean Grayson, says, you better not, making it seem like she's about to throw the hot water on him. That he pulls his gun, telling her he was going to shoot her in the face. And she says, I'm sorry, kneels down, is kneeling down to put the pot down on the ground. and this fool opens fire on her. He shot 3 times, and one of the bullets hit her directly in the head. All right. Now, there's a lot of misrepresentations. They said like he shot her 3 times in the face. He fired 3 shots at her, and one hit her in the face and killed her. All right. And the other officer who was there wanted to administer some sort of first aid, but Sean Grayson said there's no point. It was a headshot, basically saying he killed her, so there's no point in trying to help her, or revive her, or whatever, right? So basically, this black woman was murdered right then and there in her kitchen. And what's very interesting about this whole thing is that, a lot of people will say, why do black people have a fear of the police? Why do black people have such indignation towards the police? Why do black people not trust the police? This is why. Instances like this are why. And this is not new. This is not something that is just out of the blue. This is not something that some of us have not even have either experienced ourselves, or some of us know someone who's experienced this. And it might not always end in murder. It might just end in the person being hurt or arrested by the police, where you're the victim and you call the police for help, and then you wind up becoming a victim of the police yourself, right? Or you invite the police into your home for just basic questioning, quote unquote, and you wind up having your life taken, or the lives of one of your family members who's in the house gets taken, right? So this is what I mean or this is what black people mean when they talk about the issues that they have with the police. So it's a really sad story. I've noticed that it has gained a lot of media attention. The media has made sure it's been pushed out there. And I'm going to talk about that right now, okay? Because there's a reason why this story has garnered so much attention. And believe it or not, black folks, this had nothing to do with us. This had nothing to do with us spreading the word around. Yeah, we spread it around after the fact, but initially this story was spread by liberals and the Democratic Party. All right. The reason this story is getting national attention because the Democratic Party believes that they're going to be able to ride this to the White House. All right. Sad to say that they're going to use this black woman's death and her murder as a springboard for them to get some political clout amongst black people, but that's what's going to happen. They're trying to spin this now as, we Democrats care about you Negroes. When something bad happens to you Negroes, we care, right? And Trump doesn't care because he wants immunity for these police. Now, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Kamala Harris supporter. I'm not a Biden supporter. I'm just warning you about what's going on right now, okay? They are going to use the way of getting them some political power and some political brownie points with the black community. Because no sooner as this happened and it reached national news, they got messages from Joe Biden, right? Joe Biden left a message. If that was even really him, he might be somewhere taking a nap, and he just got someone to type something on his social media. And no sooner as that happened, you had the shills and the bootlicks from the Democratic Party who are black, who have black faces, but who serve massa in the Democratic Party. They were, congratulating Joe Biden and thanking him for being concerned about this black woman, as if Joe Biden gives a damn. Good and damn well, he probably would have done the same thing. He would have blew her head off too, right? So we have to be careful with this. Don't start thinking that, okay, one political party is better than the other because they leave some tweets giving their condolences. That's not enough. If you're in a position of power, something needs to be done about this. And in my opinion, the reason The only reason this guy got charged, this Sean Grayson, the only reason he's been charged with murder is because there's an election coming up. If this was past the election season, if we were already had like a Democrat in the White House, no one would say anything. They'd be blaming Sonya Massey for getting murdered, or they would try to change the narrative to, we need to talk about mental health, right? We need to get our people some mental health, and dumb Negroes will fall for that. But now all of a sudden they're going to say it's all about uh, police, and they're still not even calling it white supremacy. They're still not even calling it racism from these police. They're still talking about we need to get training for these police. What training do you need to know that you're not supposed to shoot someone in the face? And these police know this already. They know this already. All right, this is nothing new for them. Dealing with situations where people who have mental health, they don't always murder these people. I just watched a video, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, where this white man was basically having a fit at 1 o'clock in the morning. He was screaming at the top of his lungs. He was jacked up on steroids and methamphetamines. He ripped the screens and windows out of his house and walked through the open hole in the window. When the cops showed up, not one cop pulled out a gun, taser, or nothing on this dude. And this dude was acting a damn fool. That footage is out there too. I might do a video on that. And he's challenging cops to do push-up contests and saying to give him a hug and then threatening them and stuff like that. And they just took this fool away in the ambulance, didn't shoot him at all. All right. Now his brother is a cop, so that has something to do with it. But they also, once again, they knew how to handle him. They knew how to deal with a mentally deranged white man who could actually do them harm. This dude was a former veteran who has served in Iraq and Afghanistan. He could have actually done them harm, but they didn't see him as a threat enough that they had to shoot him. Meanwhile, you got this black woman here, and the cops pretending they tried to lie and said that they were scared that she was going to throw the boiling water on them. Give me your break. That's nonsense. I always say this about these police: if you're too damn scared, don't be a cop. If you're so damn scared, you would never put yourself in that situation by going in her house in the first place, right? You see? So, like I said, if you're so damn scared of a situation happening, you would never have put yourself in that situation to begin with. Or if you're so damn scary, you would never have signed up to be a police officer in the first place. All right? So, we're going to see where this goes, right? But once again, keep your eyes open. All right? Keep your eyes open. This is not just, it's a terrible situation. It's horrible what happened to her. But all the usual suspects have already come out and, have either been shedding crocodile tears or pretending like they give a damn about this black woman and black people in general. You've already had the shills and the bootlicks out here pretending like they give a damn and praising the Democratic Party just because Joe Biden says something on Twitter. Don't be fooled by this. All right? Don't be fooled into voting for these people because they pretend to care about this. And we'll see if this fool even goes to trial and if he's even charged with anything, as far as like a sentence. Because they might say, oh yeah, we arrested him, we charged him, but then he's found not guilty. And they find something about Sonya Massey and then make it sound like, well, she was crazy, she was violent, and we had to shoot her, and it's not the cops' fault, So don't be surprised about that. And maybe they'll pass some money off to her family, and that's the only thing that's going to come out of it. So you folks let me know how you feel about this in the comments section. And once again, people, keep your eyes open and be careful. Don't let these cops in your house. I mean, good God. I know it's a shame that we as black people have to be on our P's and Q's. So even if we are victims of a crime, we have to be careful of calling the police to our house because we could be easily putting ourselves in danger. That's a damn shame. but that's exactly where we are in this country. Anyway, this is Mad Black, and I will be back on my foot on the devil's back.